I learned to be a real chiseler. I don't know, not chiseler, maybe people call it shrewd, you know, bargain, you know, how to bargain for things, especially if I have a big order. I was telling Luke, working on the cupboard buttons, they normally cost me $7 a gross, and I get back 10 and a half. It's not bad. When I walk in, I had an order for 100 gross last week. I walk in, and this fellow I know for many years, Tito, runs this place. I say, Tito, I want to make a deal with you. He says, what? I says, you do them for $6, I pay you right as you're finished. And I'll make the check out to anybody you want. David would have a fit if he knew I did that. You got a deal, Seymour. I says, Indy, as soon as I bring you the bill, you pay Tito. And that's how it works. Everybody likes money, especially if it's a business and it's off the books. They just love it. I wish I could do it with my account. You give me the checks off the books. And they run a pretty great business. Strange, I first realized how old I am. I've been dealing with this account. I started with the grandfather on, you know, Grand Street many years ago, to the sons, 2 sons, and now the 2 children are running the business, and they are doing a fantastic job with that business. And when the fathers come up there, the place, they say to the boys, remember, anything you do for Seymour, you do for us. He gets all the business. So we're not telling you what to do, but remember, he gets the business.
What did you do before synthetic plastics?
The only job I ever had.
He was in the Army.
I was in the Army. Is that right? I went to work. My mother died when I was about 17, and I had to go to work. And I went, my father got me the job in synthetic. It took me a whole summer to get the job. That's how hard it was. For a big $12 a week for 5.5 days. Right? I went there every week for an entire summer until the week before Labor Day. I showed up and they said, you got a job. Report after Labor Day. You got a job delivering. And I was a bright lad. I picked things up very quickly. And that's the only place I worked. And it looked like it was a terrific future. At a big factory, they had developed a way to press casein. Years ago, buttons were made from casein. They were extruded in a rod and they were sliced. And then the rod had to lay in formaldehyde for about 7 days to harden. And they had found a way by taking the material and extruding it in a flat sheet and put it into one press, punch out the holes, put it into the next press, punch out the design, put it in the formaldehyde, and they would inject steam in the formaldehyde, and they would get it to harden in 2 or 3 days. And they had worked up a terrific business. What a business. Well, I got a big deal there. Then after the war, they went into urea, compression molding. They were one of the first ones. And during that period, RCA came to them and asked them if they would make records for them, because they didn't have enough capacity with the same type of machinery. That's how they got into records. So I figured this is a great deal. Well, it was a great deal, but there was too much family and there was too much dissension. This uncle didn't talk to this one, this brother-in-law didn't talk to this one, and at one point there was a suit against us in New York, because my boss in New York had a contract with them that gave him for a lot in perpetuity, perpetuity, or whatever it is, for life, the entire distribution for the whole world. So they couldn't sell anybody else, and they tried to break that.
You ready?
And we went to court in Newark, and it must have cost them maybe $250,000 a suit, and they couldn't win. But from that point on, the factory started to hold back from the buttons. They started concentrating on records since he had no interest in the records, and that's how it slowly went down. And today they don't manufacture anything in Newark. They are marketeers. They market and sales. They're involved now with this Ninja Turtle. And they do not mold the thing, do not make anything anymore, no manufacturing at all. They closed all the factories. And they live well, they got so much money.
What did your father do?
He used to work in the dress business, that's how I got this job.
Doing what?
He was cutting and marking, you know, stuff like that. He used to buy buttons from synthetic, that's how I got the job through him.
Did your mother work before she died?
No, mother was home. She worked before she got married. After that, she got married.
Okay. Red light, green light.
Those were tough times.
Red light, green light, 1, 2, 3.
Especially after she died. We were like a ship without a rudder, you know. She was the kind of woman who said men didn't belong in the kitchen. So she had to do everything. And when she died, who knew how to cook, who knew how to do anything. But we learned. we had a maid for a while. My father took some maid. And this happened in wartime, and she was a German woman. And one night about midnight, the bell rings, and it's the FBI. And my father got frightened. What are they going to do? And they were checking through. And after a while, my brother learned how to cook, and we learned how to clean, and we didn't need anybody. We worked it out ourselves.
He's 7 years older than I am, and it makes the whole difference in the world. He was a depression person. I wasn't. I
remember bread lines. I remember bank failures where people were crying, standing on the street. The Bank of U.S. went bankrupt and they lost all their money.
People jumping out of windows?
I didn't see that, but I'm sure they did. And Uncle Matty can tell you about times in New Bedford where he used to go with a pot, a soup, and bread, so they'd have something to eat. He went through harder times than I did in New Bedford.
So how did you two meet each other?
At Synthetic. I was working there, and then she came to work there, and I took one look at her, and I said, this is it, this is the woman I have to sleep with.
They said
and I used to hang over the window until every day until they decided that they weren't getting enough work out of me, so they had to fire her.
They didn't fire me. They did not fire me. I asked for a raise, and they said no, and they were so glad when I left.
You modeled before you worked at Synthetic, right?
What?
Yeah, she did some modeling.
Before I went.
And then she modeled after we were married?
I modeled after Synthetic.
Yeah.
After we were married, I modeled.
What did you model?
In fact, those bridal veil pictures were taken when we were married. And the pictures in the newspaper and the aprons were taken after we were married.
And we didn't want anybody in Synthetic to know we were going together, except Uncle Matty knew, because we would sit on the ledge of the main post office on 33rd Street, and the dye room, the windows was faced there, but he wouldn't say anything, and nobody knew about it until one day Indy's Uncle Cal had a party. They lived on 57th Street.
Yeah.
Remember the party Cal had on 57th Street? I'm not sure. And I was going to pick Mommy up, and we were going out, and I walk in, and there's a girl there who's a cousin to...
From the other side of that family who worked in our place.
Synthetic had a truck for delivery.
Oh, he helped us a lot.
He helped us. He used to take us home.
In the back of the truck.
And he was
Kill those shocks, I'll tell you that.
He would pick me up.
He was the world's worst driver.
Oh,
toot his horn at everybody. And one day we're going through 125th Street in Harlem in the truck, and there's a big trailer in front, and he's tooting the guy, and he cuts him off, and he's cursing, and the truck stalls. She gets out, he says to the guy in the trailer, would you give me a push? And here we are sitting in Harlem with a truck, and you know, those days it was rough. I said, goodbye, Simon.
So, Dad, did you have an opinion of Uncle Seymour when she first brought him home?
Not really. He seemed like a nice enough guy, and I didn't pay any attention.
And I'll tell you something, the guy I was going with before him was so awful that anybody would look good after that.
What was his name?
Bert was a good
Bert what?
David hated him. You see, he hated
And
he one day tells Grandma that when they get married, they're going to live on Bruckner Boulevard. You have to know Bruckner Boulevard with his mother. Grandma says to him, over my dead body. He was always crazy about cars. And after he came out of the Army, and he had all this money that he got, I'm getting a car. I said, Philly, can't get a car. There's no delivery. I'm getting a car.
What did he get, the Ford?
A Ford. He goes to a Ford dealer, and he places an order for a Ford. He must have waited 6 months for the car, and the car comes in without a bumper. So they put a wooden bumper on it. I don't care, I'm taking the car. And he gets married, and he's taking the car on a trip. And I get a call from him, he says, he says, send me double boots. He says, it's pouring in, the water is pouring in from the doors. That's how they make cars, I think. But he wouldn't give the car up. He always wanted the car.
Let's see what...
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Seymour. Happy birthday to you.
Got much, Ishmael.
You certainly did.
Get
Make a wish.
But your
blow out
body
the
was
candle.
involved.
I was the one that thought of it.
She's
That's
the
her
instigator.
idea.
You can give Grandpa a kiss.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. I was the one behind it.
Blow it out quick. Make a wish.
Come on, Logan, let's blow.
I know what he's wishing.
Come on,
Wait.
let's blow. Come on,
Let's go.
come on, let's blow.
It's hot.
Hot.
Blow out.
Blow.
Come on.
Come on, blow.